The passage is on the human brain. The author uses a term neuromorphic circuits. Then he talks about the similarities between the brain and the computers and what can be done to computers so that they function like the human brain. All right, let's read the passage and summarize it. The human brain is an amazing computing machine. Weighing only 3 pounds or so, it can process information 1,000 times faster than the fastest supercomputer, store 1,000 times more information than a powerful laptop, and do it all using no more energy than a 20-watt light bulb. Researchers are trying to replicate. So, human brain is better than a supercomputer. That's what the first paragraph says, and uses far less energy. Researchers are trying to replicate this success of the human brain using soft, flexible organic material that can operate like biological neurons and someday might even be able to interconnect with them. So they're trying to build something, and I hope that one day they can operate like biological neurons and they may even interact with them. Eventually, soft neuromorphic computer chips, from this term he has used, soft neuromorphic computer chips could be implanted directly into the brain, allowing people to control an artificial arm or a computer monitor simply by thinking about it. This is what they aim to do. Like real neurons, but unlike conventional computer chips, these new devices can send and receive both chemical and electrical signals. What will you infer from this? Real neurons and the new devices are similar. In what way? They can send and receive both chemical and electrical signals. How do they differ? Because the conventional computers chips cannot do this, cannot send both chemical and electrical signals. That's what the passage says. Your brain works with chemicals, with neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Our materials are able to interact electrochemically with them, says Alberto Celio, a material scientist at Stanford University. Celio and other researchers have created electronic devices using these soft organic materials that can act like transistors, which amplify and switch electrical signals, and memory cells which store information and other basic electronic components. So, what does he say? They have created electronic devices using these soft organic materials, the neuromorphic, whatever. What do? They can act like transistors, amplify and switch electrical signals, and also as memory cells which store information and other basic electronic components. This is what they've done. The work grows out of an increasing interest in neuromorphic computer circuits that mimic how human neural connections or synapses work. These circuits, whether made of silicon, metal, or organic materials, work less like those in digital computers and more like the networks of neurons in the human brain. So, these neuromorphic computer circuits that these scientists have created mimic how human neural connections work. And they work actually more like the neurons in the human brain and less like the chips in digital computers. Conventional digital computers work one step at a time. Their architecture creates a fundamental division between calculation and memory. This division means that ones and zeros must be shuttled back and forth between locations on the computer processor, creating a bottleneck for speed and energy use. What is the conventional computer? Very simple terms, there's a division between calculation and memory. And there's a binary system, 1 and 0. The brain does things differently. An individual neuron receives signals from many other neurons, and all these signals together add up to affect the electrical state of the receiving neuron. In effect, each neuron serves both as a calculating machine, integrating the value of all the signals it has received, and a memory device storing the value of all those combined signals as an infinitely variable analog value rather than the 0 or 1 of digital computers. Computers, memory is calculation is different, memory is different. Human brain, human neurons, calculation, and it functions both as a calculating and a memory device. And how does it work? As an analog device rather than as a digital device, right? Researchers have developed a number of different memristive, the support matter, two words put together, memory and resistor, memristive devices that mimic this ability. When you run electric currents through them, you change the electrical resistance. Now, when you don't understand, I'm sure you understand. I don't. I'm not going to read it and explain it. Just going to read. If there is a question on memristive device, I'm going to then look at it. Okay. When you run electrical currents through these memristive devices, you change the electrical resistance. Like biological neurons, these devices calculate by adding the value of all the currents they were exposed to, and they remember through the resulting value their resistance. So it's acting as a calculating and memory device. That's what I need to know. That's all I will understand from this. A simple organic memristor, for example, might have two layers of electricity conducting materials. When a voltage is applied, electric current drives positively charged ions from one layer into the other, changing how easily the second layer will conduct electricity the next time it is exposed to an electric current. Okay, fine. If there's a question on this, I'll come back to this. It's a way of letting physics do the computing, says Matthew Marinella. The technique also liberates the computer from strictly binary values. So by having this memristor device, it is changing, it is converting the computer from a strictly binary value oriented device. When you have classical computer memory, it's either a 0 or a 1. We make a memory that could be any value between 0 and 1. So you have to tune it in an analog fashion. That's the difference between the human brain, the human neural connections, the simple organic memristor, and the computer. Clear? On the basis of information in the passage, all of the following are true about the human brain except. So you are looking at an option which is not true about the human brain. The statements which are correct about the human brains, we are going to say, okay, this is correct. The human brain does this, therefore this is not my answer. It can process information at speeds faster than any supercomputer. Yes, he said that in the first paragraph. It does not have a division between calculation and memory. Yes, this is also correct. Calculation and memory both are done, not done in separate processes. There's no division. This is also correct. Each neuron in the brain serves as both a calculating device and a memory device. Yes, similar to what B has said. The brain's memory stores the value of its signals in binary units. No. It works like an analog device. It is an analog value, no binary, no ones and zeros there. Therefore, the author, this is not correct about the brain. Therefore, my correct answer is D.